And my boys was like, yeah, no, exactly. We too grown for that. And I was like, the crazy thing is we used to be that youth. They probably wouldn't have bothered us, but you don't know. When you get rid of after school programs, kids have nothing to do. And when kids have nothing to do, they're going to find something to do.
Yeah. Because let me tell you something. I'm not going to be in these streets fighting. You touch me, I'm calling the authorities and I'm pressing charges. Don't touch me, okay? I got things to lose. I'm not about to be out here fighting in the streets. For what?
I had an interesting conversation with my boys yesterday. And then I read, somebody sent me something. They sent it to me yesterday, but I didn't see it until this morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, this is what I was talking about last night. So what am I talking about? Right down the street from me, there's this mall called Pentagon City Mall. It's a huge mall. It's right outside of the Pentagon. It's in Arlington, Virginia. It's right over the bridge that connects DC and Virginia. Everybody comes to Pentagon City Mall. You know, you got people that live in Virginia, you got people that live in Maryland, you got people who live in DC come to this mall.
Yes.
Yesterday, there was some ruckus. It was a beautiful day in DC. It was like 75, 80 degrees. People was out. You know, it took 2 hours to get to Dad's house from my place, which is only a 45-minute ride because everybody was at the Cherry Blossom Festival. There was a kite festival on the mall. People was out. It was a beautiful day in DC.
Yeah.
And these kids were at the mall. And these kids kept getting into group fights. Like there was one group fight and then they break it up. And there's another group fight and they break it. So many group fights. It got to so many group fights that they had to shut down the mall and call in police backup. And then I was like, the youth is wilding. I was telling my boys last night the story of me and my bestie was walking in DC and we're about to go down the street and I see some youth on the corner.
Yes, youth. Yeah.
I see some youth on the corner. A lot of youth on the corner. I said, let's go down the next street. She's like, why? I always go down this street. I was like, yeah, but that could be trouble. And I'm not going to voluntarily put myself in what could be trouble.
Thank you. Yeah.
If I can go down another street, I'm going to go. And my boys was like, yeah, no, exactly. We too grown for that. And I was like, the crazy thing is we used to be that youth. They probably wouldn't have bothered us, but you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You don't know.
And as I've gotten older, and remember, I used to be one of those youth.
Yeah.
I used to be kind of in the streets.
Because listen,
I'm now afraid of them.
Yeah, because listen, I used to be one of those youths too, because a mall employee describing the scene said he saw, quote, there were 2 young ladies that were fighting and officers were trying to break it up. And then they started fighting the officers.
Oh, God.
Okay, so it wasn't, you think it's just little male youths. No, it's just youths. All these kids are out here scrapping, and we need to figure out, honestly, why. What is going on? Do the kids just not have anything to do? Or are there beefs going on that like authorities need to look into? Like what? Because so many fights that you can't even keep the mall open.
And this is a gigantic mall. Yes. It ain't Mall of America big, but it's pretty freaking big.
Yes.
I think a lot of people want to label this as a pandemic issue. And I do think some of the pandemic has something to do with it. We had to lock down, but the kids being locked down. I remember I was in middle school and I got a bad report card. And my dad took me off the basketball team. He was like, you got a bad report card. You can't play basketball.
Yeah.
And my grandfather said that's the worst thing in the world you could do to Bruce. He's got so much energy without an outlet.
Yeah.
You're going to bring that energy to the home, or when he has nothing to do, it's going to go outside.
Yeah.
That energy needs to be expelled some way. And so when the kids being locked in during the pandemic, that had a detrimental fact.
Yeah.
But also, When we were younger, we had places that we could go.
Yes.
We had skate lands, we had YMCA's, there was boys and girls clubs, there were activities, there were things for us to do.
Putt golf. We had places to go.
We had places to go, and there's not a lot of places for kids to go. I mean, yes, we used to go to the mall, but the mall wasn't our only place to go. Hell, we used to go to Toys R Us and just play with the free video games that they had on display. There was arcades back in the day where there wasn't a whole lot of ruckus. And I don't remember in all the years I went to arcades, people fighting at the arcades. Now, did it happen every now and then? Of course, because, you know, you got so many people in one area, fights going to break out. We're grown folks and people fighting at bars and clubs and stuff, and people fighting in the grocery stores, people fighting at airports. And these are adults. People, large groups, people going to fight. Okay.
Yes.
Unfortunately. But for the most part, these were places that we could go as youth.
Yeah.
And, you know, just chill out and relax. And all these places are gone. There's nothing. When you get rid of the arts programs in high schools, right? When you get rid of after school programs, these kids have nothing to do. And when kids have nothing to do, they're going to find something to do.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the last place they had to go, even though we closed in a lot of these malls, but the last place they got to go is the mall. And so it's like, now they can't really even do that because the mall's getting shut down because other kids are fighting. So it's like, we took everything away from the kids. They are full of hormones and energy, and they have to get that energy out.
And lack impulse control because they're not fully formed adults.
No.
You're not a fully formed adult emotionally and mentally until you are 25 years old. They can't think about tomorrow. They are thinking about in the moment.
Yeah.
So in the moment, it's just like when you got kids, when you got little young kids, and you like, look, these kids got so much energy. We're going to take them to the playground and let them run around all day. They know what you say after they run around all day, and you put them in the car. These kids gonna sleep good tonight. Why? Because they tired as hell. You got to tire some kids out.
I do that with my dogs. I just let them run around till they get tired. And that's how I keep them quiet. So I'm like, because they got so much energy, they need an outlet. They need sports. They need the arts. They need after school programs. They need, and there's just nothing there for them.
I would love, I think it would be a great idea. And I'm not sure if DC even has that. I might look into this. This might be my first foray into my political career.
Okay.
I would love to create a music studio that kids can just come to, because everybody is into music now.
Yeah.
And these kids know how to make beats, and these kids is out here rapping. So create a music studio and be like, hey, look, if y'all want to do a little demo, create music together. Because there's a lot of DC music and there's a lot of DC beefs. Maybe you could end some beefs by bringing crews together, just do songs and stuff like that. And that's something artistic for kids to do.
Yeah. I mean, whatever happened to when you got beef? Y'all battle it out on the dance floor. What happened to that?
I think that ended in 85, 86.
Well, we need to bring it back because these kids need another way to go. These kids need something else.
You say take the TikTok dance trends and they battle out.
You battle it out. If we're going to shut down the mall, it's because a huge dance battle broke out and the kid, like, that's okay. Like, all right, we could deal with, but this, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with these kids.
But see, here's the thing. We just identified what's going on with the kids, and every generation says the next generation behind is the worst. They call my generation and our generation the worst. These kids is crazy. We don't know what they're going to do. And then we said it about the next generation, and we're going to say it, they're saying it about Gen Z, and they're going to say it about Gen Alpha and whatever the generation is after that. It's only because as you get older, and you got a little bit more to lose, you become fearful. That's what doesn't get talked about when you get older. And really, people say, well, you become more conservative when you get older. No, you become more fearful.
Yeah, because let me tell you something. I'm not going to be in these streets fighting. You touch me, I'm calling the authorities and I'm pressing charges. Don't touch me, okay? I got things to lose. Do not touch. I'm not about to be out here fighting in the streets For what?
For what?
I am
Join the conversation and follow the Unsolicited Perspectives podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio podcasts.